Hey YouTube, what's going on, and welcome back to Chironis Things. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Armytek Dobermann Pro. Let's get to the unboxing. Let's get started with the size on this Dobermann Pro. I'll throw the dimensions up on the side of the screen. And while we're taking a look at that, let's look at some size comparisons. So the first one I have here is the Armytek Partner C2. So this is also an 18650 light, but you'll see very different styles. Both of these are considered in the tactical category. However, the Dobermann Pro is a full-on tactical light, whereas the Partner C2 kind of meshes tactical with everyday carry. So you take a look here at the length, quite a bit longer on the Dobermann Pro. Tails aren't too far off there, but the head is significantly larger on the Dobermann Pro. And then we also have the Armytek PT16. So this is a very similar style flashlight in that both are direct-to-turbo tactical flashlights. Both have the finger ring, but this one is 21-700 versus the Armytek's 18-650. So the Armytek should be a little bit bigger here, which you can see it is in length. Width is a bit more there, diameter is a bit more in the tube, and then the head is actually much larger on the Armytek. So there is the size on the Dobermann Pro. For the battery and charging on this Dobermann Pro, this does have a proprietary charger as we looked at in the unboxing, and that connects through this little magnetic ring here on the tail. The only way to access the battery is going to be through the tail, so we're going to unscrew that. Very well lubed there on the tubes, or on the threading. Get a lot of lights that come in and they're just completely dry. So this comes with an 18650 3500 milliamp 3.7 volt lithium ion battery with the Armytek branding there. Alright, flat top. So let's put that back in. And the spring is just like on that Partner C2. The spring retention on this tail is extremely tight, so you've really got to press down and screw on to get this on, but that's good. It's got really good retention. It's a good spring. For the design on this flashlight, we'll start with the tail. So you see here that we have a bubbled up tail switch here, and then we have a little tiny metal piece here on the top, which is kind of where your finger catches. So even though it bubbles up there, I feel like no matter where I click on this button, my thumb just naturally goes to that little middle piece there. Deflates pretty nicely. It's got a nice click. I don't know that I have any other flashlights with a tail switch that's bubbled up like this, quite the same, but it actually feels pretty nice. Works well, and even if you don't get that little metal plate, it still registers from the sides. So it's got really good response on that tail switch there. And then of course it has the magnetic ring. That's for the charger. You're not going to actually be able to stick this to anything and have it stay. The light's going to be too big and heavy for that. It can be nice though if you drop like a little screw or something and you're trying to look for it, you stick this on the ground, you can pick up a screw or whatever you need. And then you'll see that here that we do have a lanyard hole here, which if you saw in the unboxing, the lanyard that it comes with has a little metal clip that gets stuck to that magnetic ring. So I did not use that. I went with a generic third-party lanyard, but this has such a tight little lanyard hole here that I had to use floss to pull the lanyard through. So just a heads up on that if you go to put another lanyard on here. All right, and then it comes with this optional finger ring here. You don't have to use it. I put mine on. I like it. And then we have what's common in Armytek, this solid matte black coating here on the light. It's really durable. It's really nice. It holds up very well. And then on the head here, we have a pretty large head. Then it has some different writing on it, so it tells you long throw and compact, warm light. So you can get a cool white version. I got the warm light version. Dobermann Pro, high intensity LED. So it's got some writing on there. Then we have a pretty nice bezel on here. It's not sharp at all, but feels pretty durable. And then down in there we have a deep reflector. For the emitter, regardless if you get the warm or the cool, it's going to be the XHP 35.2 high emitter. For the performance numbers, I'll go ahead and throw those up on the side of the screen. And let's go ahead and take a look at the way that this user interface works. So it's got a pretty unique user interface because it works off of a twist of the head here. So if you twist it all the way to the left here, so what would that be? That would be counterclockwise. It's going to be turbo only. So if you just leave it like that, every time that you use this, whether you click it on and leave it like that, or whether you hold it down for momentary, it's going to be turbo. But if I twist it just a little bit to the right here, then we cycle into our standard modes. So you still have momentary, meaning that while you hold the button down partially, it'll stay on while you hold it down. And you can also cycle through just by lightly tapping. And you see that? The brightness changing. So you can cycle through low, medium, and high off of that. Also, while the light's on, you can quickly double press through to cycle through as well. Personally, I think I prefer to do it off the tail here, just by lightly tapping through. Okay. And so that is your standard mode. It's going to be low, medium, and high. Or I can twist back to the left here for that instant turbo. Let's go ahead and take this outside and see what it can do with some beam shots. Final thoughts on this flashlight, of course, very well built. It's super robust. I mean, this is kind of that no-nonsense thrower, right? So, like, this doesn't have all the gimmicks. This isn't flashy, but this will absolutely get the job done. And based on the build construction of this light, it's going to hold up a really long time. I love the fit and finish that they use at Armytek. Every light I've got from them has been great so far, but I think this is definitely one of the best ones yet. And this thing throws pretty darn far. I love that it has direct to turbo. You know, it's really simple. You know, you don't have to do some crazy amount of button presses. Just twist and leave it like that. So that's really nice. This is obviously just a good brand, so I do like supporting Armytek as well. I do want to see them eventually start adding USB-C recharging. I don't know if they're ever going to do that, but I'm not a fan whatsoever of the proprietary batteries. I don't use it really. I just take the battery out and I charge it in a third-party charger. But I'd love to see USB-C recharging on these. Additionally, I think it would be pretty cool if they added like little glass breaking beads you know, maybe just like 3 of them there. I think that'd be nice to have just to make it a little bit even more tactical. But even as is, still a great flashlight. Now, as far as price, I believe it's going right around $95 right now from most websites. I think that's probably pretty fair for this flashlight considering what you're getting for it, and you're getting a very well built flashlight. So I'll leave a link in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great week.